Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video here on my YouTube channel. And in this video, we're going to be covering Malibuca, where he did super well in solo finals a couple weeks back. I think this was back when Spider-Man was 20 charges, but I just want to cover it regardless, even though that, there's a slightly different meta. It's still a meta where Spider-Man is, really important, just like it is now. Some people may not believe that, but I really believe it to be true. You have to understand any sort of mobility option that we have. It's a great way for map conservation, and we want to take advantage of that. So that's first off, right? They definitely take advantage of Spider-Man this solo cash cup. If you haven't already, understand that it's the meta. You need to play to the meta to actually get that edge. And if you don't have the edge, you're just playing the game on hard mode. Doesn't necessarily mean you can't do well, but it's just harder, right? So let's get into the video. We won't waste any time. This weekend we have one solo cash cup on Saturday, Sunday, and then the next solo cash cup. This is news to me. I didn't know this was actually happening, but there's another solo cash cup on Monday, Wednesday. So Monday being round 1 and then Wednesday being round 2. So it's really cool. I really hope you guys take this seriously and try your hardest for these solo cash cups, because it'll prep you for really nice solo cash cups in the future, even if you don't make money this time. I want you guys to sort of learn from this solo cash cups weekend, right? So definitely make sure you try your hardest, and I think we'll all learn from quite a bit from that. Okay, so with that being said, let's just hop into the video. Really simple. I think that Malibuca did a great job in these stacked end games. And just to sort of preface this video, the biggest place where people struggle is not necessarily, in the middle of the tournament getting up to high leaderboard. Some people actually are able to do that, but the problem honestly seems to be the fact that once they hit those stacked lobbies, they have no idea what to do. And that's why we're specifically going after solo finals. This is where surge happens. This is where a bunch of stacked end games happen, and we can learn a lot from that, so that when you are, top 100, top 200, top 300 in the middle of the tournament, you can remain being top 200, top 100, and potentially continue climbing instead of finding difficulty there and then dropping back down to top 1k, top 5k, top 10k. Okay, so that's something that I've noticed to be a trend. A lot of people get into stacked end games and then don't know what to do. That's the problem, right? So let's talk about it. How can we sort of fix that? First thing we're going to sort of discuss is not actually related to end games, but it's just a sort of box fighting tip that I sort of noticed. A lot of people seem to believe that let's just draw a scenario here. Really important scenario. I'll move my camera just so it's a little bit nicer for you guys. Simple scenario here, right? And if we sort of think about it this way, black is us and red is enemy, like this. There's two options to smack on this enemy box, right? So let's say the rest of the lobby is like somewhere here, right? So this is where like the third parties are. There's two options to smack on this box. We can smack like this, or we can smack on like this, right? And just from maybe watching my old videos, you might assume that this is the right way to do it, right? Because right hand peak, right? We have right hand peak, but it's a lot more complex than that, right? Obviously we don't need to go this in depth for this specific scenario, but I thought there's something that you guys might find interesting. So there's two options, right? Right hand peak or left hand peak, like this. There's several different reasons why in this specific case, especially with third parties here, you would want to take this option, right? This is kind of obvious, kind of intuitive. You just get away from the third party so that this box is not visible to the rest of the lobby, right? So that when you're aggroing on them, you're not actually visible, right? So that there's that aspect, but there's also another aspect that I want to show you in the specific video. So let's play it until we get to that point where Malibuca actually decides to smack on this box. Part of the reason why Malibuca does decide to smack on the box, first of all, it's a free opportunity, but more importantly, it actually ends up working in his favor because it's wood, right? And it's wood is, I'm sure it takes 2 pickaxes to swing and break. It's really nice to catch the enemy off guard, as opposed to brick, which takes 3, as opposed to metal, which takes 4. It's really difficult to sort of catch your opponent off guard in those sort of situations. So just take a look here, right? Notice it right away. It builds off any sort of third-party opportunities. You don't want to sort of just make empty space here and not build this off, because then that's how you get tagged. And you want to conserve HP as much as possible. But in general, let's look at this situation. What is the options for the enemy here, right? To sort of stop this wall take. Right now, Malibuca only swung once. And now the enemy has 2 options to edit, really, right? Usually what people do, honestly, this is the most common and popular option, is to do this peanut butter edit like this, right? Right hand peak, nice right hand peak on Malibuca, and it's really nice. And then the other option, right? Let me draw this a little bit nicer for you guys. Another option is to do the top row edit, right? These are the 2 most popular options. So notice something. As long as Malibuca keeps his crosshair in this specific area, I'll actually choose a nicer color for you guys. This specific area right here. Right? You see this? You see how this is like the overlap between the 2 most common edits? It's going to break the wall. right? And that's why it's, you know, wood is helpful here, because no matter when the enemy sort of edits the wall in reaction to Malibuca is still able to take the wall because there's gun swap delay. Let me explain a little bit further, because that might have been a little bit confusing. But in general, this is not necessarily possible if you were to actually swing on this side, because think about where the right hand peak would be if they did the peanut butter, right? You would have to look down here. It's really awkward to look in this little spot right here, and it's just awkward to sort of catch the wall off guard. Whereas if you're swinging on the left hand peak, this is the pros and cons of left hand versus right hand here, you get to take the wall, right? So this is actually something that really top tier box fighters, especially a student that I teach a lot, his name is Supero. He's really good at box fights. He wagers box fights all the time, and he does this tactic, and he has explicitly told me that he likes this tactic because of the fact that you get to take the wall really nicely, and most people don't really do wide edits on this side of the wall, your close side. So it's much easier to take the wall, and I mean, just to play it out, you'll see exactly what I mean. Really easy to just grab the wall even if they edit, because the edit doesn't actually make a hole where you're pickaxing. Whereas if you were right hand peeking, this is a common problem that people have. Obviously, if you were to play it properly on the right hand, you wouldn't actually, you know, have an issue, because once you miss your swing, you notice the edit. Since you're standing behind this line right here, you are able to reset your own wall and not be hit, because the enemy has gun swap play once they edit. There's a timing, there's a window of time where you could just completely edit and be completely fine. Okay, so that's just a small thing that I wanted to mention. It may seem like overthinking is something that you can apply for literally seasons on end, because this is constantly in the game. This is box fighting. It's a fundamental of the game. Just something interesting that I thought you guys might like. But in general, Malibuca doesn't actually play that well in game 1, game 2. I think he was a little bit nervous, a little bit stiff. He was making some uncharacteristic mistakes. So we're just going to skip game 1, game 2 and go straight to game 3, which should be around 4 minutes. So let's just go straight to 4 minutes, and then we're going to VOD review end games, guys. We'll VOD review end games and we'll watch it all the way through. Really curious about how Malibuca plays this. He just lands with the Spider-Man right now. Watch out for this situation. Actually, when you place a cone, you can almost see him slide off here. There's a very big risk of you sliding off. So this is how Spider-Man works. This is only going to be relevant this weekend, and after this weekend, Solo Cash Cups and all tournaments are going to be finished, and we're going to go to the next season where Spider-Man's not there, so it's not going to be as relevant. But either way, in preparation for this Solo Cash Cup and the, you know, the second one as well, just understand that when you place a cone and you land on it with the Spider-Man, you do slide off. You can kind of see it here with the cone, but it's very slight. You can barely see it. Try to avoid doing this. I don't think it's worth it. Like, the only reason it doesn't affect Malibuca here is because he places all 4 walls around it, around the cone, and it just doesn't affect him. But in general, it may affect you and catch you off guard. Like, for example, if you're Spider-Manning up and landing on height and then you place a cone, this happened to Donnie actually in one of the games. He's completely through the game, got 4th place instead of 1st when he was on height. So definitely avoid placing cones if possible. Yes, they have longer reach, but it's not worth it sometimes when you can definitely place a floor here. What I would do is land on the floor, then place cone, then build blocks. Something small detail, but it completely avoids big throws in your game. So Malibuca actually has a window of time here to like sort of look back, because the next rotate is already planned because of the Spider-Man in his inventory, right? And left side's expanding here. So if you want to look at the concept of expanding and closing side, it's a term that I coined. Just look at a video that I made way back in the day. It sort of explains that concept. I'll link it in the description just so you guys can check it out. But either way, continuing on to with the video, left side expanding, the space is already planned out. Spider-Man's his next rotate. He has a window of time for maybe the next 10 seconds to look back and potentially get an impact here. So he's going to reload his AR while he's looking back, looking up, down, and just making sure they're looking all directions. Nothing obvious really shows, so we're just going to Spider-Man here and keep it simple. And goes pretty deep, makes 2 boxes, wants to be a little bit safe. It's pretty congested here. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's something that I noticed. A lot of people do nothing when they're sitting in his box, right? In an end game box, like some people just do nothing. And they're actually doing nothing. Like, they're just sitting and waiting for zone to move. And that's something that I see commonly wrong with a lot of people's Solo Cash Cups. They genuinely waste their time. They don't use their time valuably. In this specific case, it may seem like Malibuca is doing nothing. Like, if I just go back and play this out, you'll see that Malibuca is not doing nothing, actually being aware, right? And paying attention to the surroundings. So it's not, you know, it's not enough to sort of pretend to be busy by just shooting people. pay attention. That's the most important thing you can do, because sometimes, you know, like opening a window and shooting makes you distracted, and then you'll miss the opportunity, the impact that just passed you by on the other end of your box when you're looking north and it was passing by on the south side, something like that, right? It could totally happen. It happens all the time, actually. So definitely just don't go for the first thing you see. Go for stuff that actually has a high likelihood of an impact. And I think that's what Malibuca does really well. Doesn't just start opening windows and shooting walls for the sake of like feeling busy. You just need to be aware, right? And then when the opportunity comes, it'll be really obvious that it's a high likelihood play. You can then go for it, right? And I feel like a lot of people misunderstand this. They feel like, you know, like right here is looking, because it's a third party, it's a third party situation, this is very high likelihood for you to get a kill, and potentially even, you know, 2 people's worth of mats, which is a very big deal if you can sort of close this out. Malibuca notices the third party coming in with the AR spray, so definitely backs out of there and doesn't continue with that play. And then here we're gonna Spider-Man one more time. Pretty congested there, and actually lands. So here's the thing, he landed on a cone again, but it doesn't necessarily matter as long as you place all four walls, right? But understand you can slide off of that, so definitely if you're gonna do it this way, definitely place the walls. You won't be punished for it then. Right side's really empty here, I believe. When I say right side, I mean this side. If you look at the minimap, this side right here is really empty. You can literally see it through Malibuca's walls, and I suggest that he goes that way. There's just a lot more breathing room, and that's what you want with Spider-Man. That's the whole reason you elevate yourself in the first place with Spider-Man. I highly recommend you just don't go low ground if you plan on using Spider-Man, because it's tough. It's really tough. And I mean, Malibuca commits to going low ground here, but the main reason that he does this is to look for kills, right? Sometimes if you're second height, there's not that much congestion around you, and that can actually be a bad thing for you to sort of not find any kills. You're never gonna find a kill up there, especially when you're nearing wood like this. Malibuca only has like 200 hearts and 400 wood. It's time to look for a kill, right? And so he doesn't like necessarily position himself in a bad spot, but I do think he could be a little bit higher and still find good opportunities for kills. I think that would have been a better and safer choice. Like, you would definitely find like just as many opportunities. Like, honestly, mid ground is like just as good as like this layer. Not as bad. Either way, it's not that deep as long as he picks a safe layer and then does all the fundamentals, like just staying aware and super ready to make a play when it happens. He should be fine. Yeah, he has like 6 build hards. He needs to be very careful here. Popping heals, it's definitely the priority. That guy got beamed. I'm curious if he's gonna go for that. Yeah, he doesn't. Okay, so let's talk about that. So misses that pump, so that's very uncharacteristic of Malibuca, actually. Very uncharacteristic, right? So like, this is stuff that he would always hit. And then blanks here, I don't know what happened here. It could be server side. It's actually selected on his AR. That's really weird. Really looks like some server lag there. But either way, I have no idea what happens here. But either way, he does a really good job of understanding that like, this is not a winning fight, because not only did you miss your first shot, you blanked your second shot, like it didn't even click, and now you just need to get out, because it's definitely a losing play. You still have to switch to an MK, which is not close range like at all. So good play to get out. This is the only reason. Like, this is actually a common situation that a lot of people just fight and they take a 50-50, and then they die for good reason, because they don't have a close range weapon. And even if you have an SMG here, why take the fight when it's a 50-50 and you should just get out? There's always an option. People just don't realize that this is an option, what Malibuca does here, and they sort of think that the only option is to shoot, right? And there's no other option, that there's no plan B here. They commit to the 50-50, right? And then in another universe, if Malibuca did that, he could be dead right now, right? But because he chose to choose the safe route and get out, he's still alive right now. So that's something curious to keep in mind. His spacing is really good. He sort of backs away whenever it's possible, and even in the situation where it's not intuitively possible, he still chooses to do it. It's really important to understand that as well. Connects to the little builds on the hill and then moves his way back into storm, and we're in a top 6 situation with only wood. He needs to find a kill right now. It's okay, look, here's the thing, it's desperate. It's very important that he gets a kill soon, but it's not like suicide. Like, you need to jump in and make something happen right now. You can still space and so like potentially do it like for a little bit longer, maybe 10 to 20 seconds longer, and then you just need to jump in someone's box, most likely, right? He finds a really nice opportunity because he's being patient and picks up all the hearts and then goes forward. Right side looks free. Also, I mean, left side looks just as free. I don't think there's a problem with either one. I do think left side was better, and I'll tell you why. Like if you Spider-Man right here and go around the left, or Spider-Man to the builds up here, there's some builds up here, right? That actually might be better, because if you notice where zone is, this is really hard to notice in game, by the way. But I totally don't blame Malibuca for going right. It's not necessarily wrong, but left side is better, because this is expanding side right here, right? And I think if you were to play on that side, you'd be fine. There is space on the left side. I don't believe it's necessarily bad to do that. Now, the only argument that you can make for going right side is dead side, I believe. No, actually, that's not an argument at all. Yeah, I mean, either way, it's fine, because there's space on the right side as well. It's literally the same thing. Ultimately, it shouldn't matter that much. How he plays the situation matters way more than whether he shows left or right. Okay, he has like 15 builds. He understands his time is ticking out, so right now he just needs to like take a fight. So he's taking the fight with this guy, because there's no world where you can sort of kill the high ground without this guy just shooting you. So your best bet is to actually just wipe out low ground and then turn the final fight into just like a 1v1, and you need to do it quick, right? Because the longer you take with this fight right here, it's gonna be really inevitable or likely that the height guy, like, the height guy's not going to be doing nothing. Height guy's definitely looking down right now, so the third party's coming, so you need to finish this fast so you don't get third party and die right away if you care about winning, you know, winning the game. That's really good, and kills this person. It really comes down to crosshair placement. I think, honestly, I believe the reason why he won is because this person is actually doing a mistake really way too close to the wall. That's the problem, right? You should actually move back, right? Move back some more and then peek like this, right? Because if you're further away from the wall, you have a better right hand peek, you have a better perspective of the enemy. If you're too close, it's really tough to get a good right hand peek. You'll be like standing this way, you're exposed already, but because there's like I don't know if you know, in Fortnite there's like a red X when you're really close to a wall. This will still be happening because you're super close to the wall, and then it's a situation where, you know, Malibuca has a left hand on the enemy has a right hand on Malibuca, but still it's a situation where the enemy can't really shoot Malibuca because of the red X that happens on, you know, close range builds, and Malibuca can actually shoot the enemy first on a left hand, which is really interesting concept. That's why you don't stay super close to the builds like this. You should actually back up, like I illustrated before, and take a right hand peek a little bit further away from this edge, and I think you'll have a better time. Either way, yeah, I don't think it would have helped either way, because like this enemy was kind of screwed, really low HP, and Malibuca is gonna turn this into a 1v1. Now let's see what happens here. This hype player tries to awareness check Malibuca and see if the Malibuca, you know, is ready for this play. Turns out Malibuca was, but doesn't get height afterwards. Really good on the enemy to actually just jump back up to height, because that is the right thing to do. It's definitely a little aggressive to jump down and kind of awareness check Malibuca like that, but it doesn't matter. So here, really good side jump right here. Obviously, really good mechanics and decision by Malibuca, but it's extremely good decision, and I'll tell you why. Because think about your mat count as like an hourglass, right? It's your time left. It's not necessarily just mats, right? It's indicating how much time you have left to like make a play. And because Malibuca only has 2 builds, he has just enough time to make a play where he can just side jump and then shoot and then place wall, right? And then that gives him a chance to sort of get a shot off and then potentially block the next shot. And if the wall actually blocks the next shot, and the enemy shoots into it, then you can make it a window and then shoot again, or make a wide edit and shoot again. And there's like just really nice play. So I think this is definitely the play right here. Just shoot build like this, right? And it's really free, and it's not necessarily that it's like the most advantageous or guaranteed way to win, but the truth is I would rather a 50-50 like that. You know, obviously it was still a nice low ground peak, but the opponent could still be waiting. It's not necessarily a 100% guaranteed win, but in the final 1v1 and you're running low on mats like that, you just need to go for something. And you need to do it confidently, right? Because it's very important. You have to understand you don't have any other option, right? So I would rather take a 50-50 than, you know, a fight with no mats, because a fight with no mats against a player that's good and has mats is probably like a 10-90, you know what I mean? So 50-50 is looking real good right now. I would rather take that because I'm running at a time. My hourglass is running at a time, so absolutely take that fight. That's what Malibuca does, and Malibuca does it really confidently, and that's the key. That's absolutely the key. Low Ospawn fight. I think we can skip this. Nothing crazy for us to learn from. We could go over this, but I really care about endgame. I really believe in just focusing on endgame here. Let's watch. Oh, he is scuffed. Okay. This is a really interesting situation. This goes into the concept of win condition. Malibuca absolutely needs a kill. Two reasons why Malibuca needs a kill. He's solving two different things right now. Right now, he doesn't have enough surge, right? There's 49 people left. That's insane, by the way. 19 people have to die before the surge ends. Definitely gonna pop and, you know, tag people. He's 97 above, which is absolutely not enough. So he needs to solve that. And, right, so that's number one. There's surge. And number two is what? The mat count, right? The mat count has to be fixed. Number two is mat count, right? And this is what we need to solve. Now, luckily for us, both of these things can be solved with one action, right? Which is honestly making a very, very, very aggressive play towards an opponent and being fine with it. Does that make sense? Because that's actually something that you should just be completely fine in doing with solos, because sometimes you're in a situation like this and you have to make a play work. That was almost really good. He's an 80 and just needs some pressure to understand that, like, after SMG ammo is out, you can't really go for that anymore. This was almost very good. Okay, get some build, gets a lot of mats. Okay, really good. Now notice something, doesn't panic. A lot of people wouldn't pick up the wood. A lot of people would just start running out right now. He even pops the pepper, which is actually very crucial, because if you notice, there's no spiderman in his inventory. Really important to pop these peppers and actually have the awareness to look for them. Finds the free car rotate. This is a little bit risky, but I think he can potentially get away with it. Oh, okay, either way, I think this is fine. It's surprising how safe cars are in endgame, especially in first and second moving. It's not that dangerous. After that, it's probably dangerous, but I don't even think you would have an opportunity to use a car anyways. So definitely boxes up 2x1 because it's really, really congested, and you want to be safe because you look at your mats, man. Like, your mats are amazing. You just want to be safe and make sure you get healed off. And after you heal, you're still 122, which is not a good number to sit at. But Malibuca can't really do anything about it except get siphon like this. I was just about to say. So there's two things that he does here. He notices zone. I promise you, he's noticing zone right here. This is very common for pros to sort of multitask and notice where zone pulls. If you also notice, Malibuca's at the back side of zone, of the new, you know, moving zone. So definitely needs to start moving forward. Again, it sort of happens where, like, you get a 2-in-1. First thing is you're moving towards zone, so you're rotating. Right, so rotate, and the second thing is actually you're moving towards the impact that you just got, and you can try to secure the loot and potentially get more heals or mats or whatever. Yes, it may seem like he has like a really good amount of mats right now, but if you can cap this off to 555, I think you just win the game. Right, so there's mats, right? So rotating towards zone and then mats. Now if zone pulls like this, I think you still go for it and then come back, because of the fact that if zone pulls like this, you're like at the front side, so you actually have an extra bit of time. But either way, this is a 2-in-1 situation where you can get both things done with one action. So let's do it. Right, really efficient. Arps towards it, walks back off, walks back off again. Armored wall, you could go on the left and then take it, but I think the mats are probably going to be gone by then. So actually what you should just do here is just play for zone. Honestly, I think left side's expanding, right? It is, right? So this wall has to eventually match here, so that's really nice for you if you can find space on the left side, and you can do that with peppers. That's really nice. Let's stay on the left side here, not right. Pepper, and then just go out to the left. He needs to go soon. Oh wow, okay, that's very ambitious. It's just he was so behind on zone that he actually took that. So when I was worried about that, okay, let me show you why I thought it was ambitious. It's not that he wouldn't get the kill. It's the fact that this is wood right here and he's backside, which means most of these people up here in front of him are actually going to be looking back most likely, right? So, and then this is wood, right? And everyone's eyes are usually drawn towards third parties, even if you're not a good player. Like, that's just like something that's naturally happened. So this is very risky, right? I actually don't think this is something that you should do. Right, and I'll tell you why. Like, win condition, right? What's your win condition here? You need to get ahead a little bit, right? You can look for something like this maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds, but not now, right? Because your priority is absolutely to get ahead. This is definitely not the right play, right? Yes, you can look for like a free kill and then move on, and I'm very happy he doesn't, you know, full commit to this or stay longer than he needs to. So there's that. At least he has that going for him. Goes for a pump, doesn't work, moves on. This is something that Malibuca does a lot, actually does really, really well. You never tunnel on a single play. You sort of like awareness track or go for it once and then you leave, right? So this is something that's actually the benefit of watching this play and sort of looking at this. He doesn't commit to plays, right? He only commits to the play if it's working, and right there's no indication that was working. We don't even know what the enemy HP was, so screw that. Right, let's get ahead. Gets ahead, gets sprayed again, needs to heal, so makes a 2x1. Invests a little bit more mats. This is also finals, so people are going to be jumping in. looks back for zone. This is what I was worried about, of like someone doing this to Malibuca, because like think about it, like if you're ahead, you have nothing else to do, so you're gonna look back. Pretty simple. I was worried about Malibuca having that issue with him. Oh, this solo. Oh, very good kill. Can't get him back there. Another good kill. Another common thing that a lot of people do, and we saw Malibuca do this earlier, you always shoot build. It's very good, simple combo to do. And it's really important. So like for example, let's say the shot doesn't kill the enemy most likely will turn around and build or shoot as an instinct, right? And most likely they'll build because, you know, like higher level players like to play a little bit safer when they have to do a 180 to sort of like, they don't have any crossfit placements, they're not going to really shoot there, they're just going to build. And if you just own this wall and they try to build on your already existing wall, you just have piece control, you win, right? If you hit them for a hard shot but they don't die, you now have the wall to piece control them, which is really nice. So shoot build is a common combo that a lot of lower level and intermediate people don't do it consistently enough. I'm not saying you don't know it, I'm not saying you don't do it, you just don't do it enough. There's so many more situations where I feel like you could be doing it. I was about to say this is not a general statement, but I actually think this is a general statement. I feel like people don't do it enough, right? It's such a simple combo that has a lot of value, and I want you guys to like look in your gameplay and find every single time you don't pump build. Pump build is really good combo, and I feel like it has a lot of benefit. Definitely a generalization. So definitely look out for that. I want you guys to potentially find situations where you're not doing that right. Makes a lot of builds on you know, the close side of zone. In other words, people have to get in, right? And in this specific case, they have to get in. So like he sort of sits on edge and builds himself in, so he's in, right? So like the box diagonal to him, the metal box that he built behind him is in. He's good. He just needs to potentially look for kills here, and that's what's really nice. So if he goes really deep and sits on backside, it's really tough for find an impact because everyone's just going to stop right here. Right? I wish I could zoom into the minimap, but let's just draw it again. Let's say this is the minimap. We're coming from here. He's sitting like this. You see what I mean? And he's just sitting right here. Obviously, it's not like to scale or like draw it in perfectly, but it's like this is a good move, right? You want to sit on edge here because you need more kills. You only have 200 wood. You have 5 builds hard, 5 builds hards. It's not good, right? You have 10 builds of hards. You need to find a kill. In general, obviously a lot of people will be like, oh, 300 mats, that's a decent amount. I don't think so. I don't count wood as a mat. I don't really consider it as a mat. I think you should just look at your hards, and that should be the indication of whether you should get an impact or not, and really soon. So in general, yeah, he just needs to look for a kill. He's doing that on edge by positioning himself like this, and then let's see if he gets one. I really believe it's a high likelihood that he gets one, but let's see. Sometimes you just get unlucky and you just don't find an opportunity. But very important, he's just looking. He's not like going, you know, shooting some random person's wall because you want to feel productive. You just look. I promise you the most productive thing you can do is look, because there's two things that can happen. One thing is a person walks by and you have a good opportunity and it's a high likelihood play, so you're going to go for it. The other option, or I guess like thing that could happen to you, is that someone pushes you. And if you're not aware because you're distracted by shooting some guy's metal wall, you're gonna die, right? And being aware is one of the most productive things you could be doing. Just understand, like, that's sort of like you being on ready, on call to go for the play when it shows up, right? Too many people shoot at really low likelihood plays. Okay, let's see how he pushes this. Pumps this guy 50, really good. Blocks off. It's the mats. It's all siphon, as I expected, I feel. Okay, now the thing about expanding side. Expanding side's right here, so you just need to stay all the way to the left. Also think about where zone came from. This is also another important detail. Zone came from like somewhere here, which means let me redraw this on the board. Okay, right, so let's draw zone. This was the previous zone. It's not on the minimap anymore, but then it literally looks like this, right? So think about where all the enemy builds are, right? So this is what builds are. What does this mean for us? This really means that like this section right here, let's try to draw it in like is this a good color? This is a good color, right? This section right here is really empty. Like there's no build, so you need to absolutely get on this side right now and sort of, you know, you don't want to sort of do this because you're going through like dead builds unless you want to save mats or something. Just understand that this area right here is full dead builds. Like it's empty. You're not going to find trouble rotating through that, you know, position if you want to use your own builds. Obviously there's some benefit to sort of like going through old builds, but I wouldn't worry about that too much here. In Malibuca's case, it doesn't matter. It's really important you understand where the space is actually for Malibuca, because there's Spider-Man in his inventory, and like I said before, you want space with Spider-Man. That's the main reason why we go second height with it. Okay, still looking for kills because he understands like it's not in that urgent of a position for him to, you know, just start rotating. Really good shot. He almost hit the cone there, and it still was able to aim grabs the mats. Now he's sitting at 400 mats, which is really, really nice. Builds himself in. He could have Spider-Man here. I really believe that was the play, but I think he wants to take a non-risk sort of attitude toward this rotate. This is definitely a safer alternative to Spider-Maning, but I do think you could have saved literally all those mats. But either way, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's not that big of a difference. He just needs to look for impact much sooner than he would have needed to if he's Spider-Man. At least with this method where he sort of tarps himself in, he gets to control where he wants to go. He got himself to the center side zone and then looks for kills. He needs to pick up these mats. Okay, he didn't get anything. Okay, that was a little sloppy. I think he needs to pick those up. Like, what is the first thing you need to do? Like, it's not the shoddy ammo, right? It's the metal. It's all these mats. I think that's what you should have picked up. Tries to get it in the second time, but it's all good. Either way, he's 20 builds right now. Really easy to get kills here. Like, okay, this is something that's really important. Why I talk about mat conservation all the time, and I feel like people still undervalue it. They don't really understand the benefit of it, and it's really important to get. So let's draw a graph. Okay, I always draw this all the time, and I want you guys to understand this. Okay, cool. Draw a graph right here. This is mats over here on the y-axis, and then this is time. Okay, and I'll just remove time because now you understand what the axis is. This is 50-50 zone, first, second, third, fourth. Okay, so like the end of the movings. Try to draw a graph where we have yellow as our mats, like so, right? This is what we expect our mats to be, and then this is the average mat count of the lobby, the black. Does that make sense, right? You understand why it's a downward slope is because we're constantly using mats. We're getting lower and lower and lower as the game progresses. But because we're so good at mat conserving through circles 1 to 5 at the very beginning of the game, we have above average mats. And what this does for us is exactly the situation that Malibuca's in. Now, Malibuca's here for a different reason because he got so many impacts throughout the game, but it's sort of the same effect if you just conserve. And this is why Spider-Man's so strong, by the way. If you sort of work your way to the position where you're above average on the lobby, and by a significant margin too, not just by a little, if this happens, if this scenario happens, what ends up happening for you is that you get into a position where the average mat count of the lobby is really, really close to 0, like this, and you're still at 200-300 mats. It's exactly the sort of, and it's like hard mats too, right? And this is exactly the situation that Malibuca is in, where he's able to tarp on low ground, have edits on everyone, and be in a really safe position, but get free kills on people that genuinely don't have mats. And what ends up happening during this specific stage of the game right here is a lot of people just start jumping in, which provides you a lot of opportunity for third-party sprays, and you know, for you to get a ton of kills. Because when you're third-partying someone, they're both spraying at each other. No one's going to turn around and hold the wall because they don't want to stop spraying at each other because they're in a 50-50 duel. And you get to contribute to the fight by just third partying them, and most likely you'll get a free kill, really, really low effort kill, low hanging fruit for you. So that's what I sort of think about is mat conservation benefit, is that if you're above average mats, you'll find a position in the game where you have mats and everyone else doesn't, and then that's free kills for you. It genuinely takes no skill to get those kills, except for the fact that you set yourself up beforehand, sort of thinking ahead, and you sort of get the reward for it now. You know what I mean? So definitely think about mat conservation. It's not just about sort of, you know, not building during moving zone, because sometimes that can get you killed. That is part of the equation. Another part of the equation is this. Okay, so let's draw this out. This is a common thing that I talk all the time about circles 1 to 5. Really, really simple. So we talk about first edge. Let me write it out and then I'll explain it to you guys. Okay, so first off, Spider-Man is meta, so definitely get one. Second off, you should have a car, right? So at this point, you secure 555 mats and car. Ideally, Lambo with tires. Okay, this is like the best car in the game, obviously. And what you end up doing is you go first edge. The reason you don't go center is because it's really congested center, and sometimes you can get keyed off of center. But in general, if you go center, let's draw the circle right here, right? Let's draw a circle. Let's say you go center. Let's say this is first zone. You go center. What ends up happening is that obviously there's a bunch of people that are next to you, like this. Guys, there's enemies around you. Now, if zone pulls like this, what are you doing? Right, obviously you're still in. Usually second zone is not like that big. Let's say it's like this, right? What are you doing? You can't really go any deeper. Now, if let's say yellow is the position that you would have been if you followed my plan. That's actually, yellow's kind of hard to see. Let's say blue or pink. I actually don't know. I'm kind of colorblind, guys. So Forgive me on that if I miscolored this one. But either way, if you're blue here, you have freedom to move. So even if there's people next to you like this, you can just wait for them to go, and then you get to like move wide, right? You get to go wide. You're not as committed to your position. You have more freedom to move, which is why we're staying edge until third, right? We wait until third to go. So let's say zone pulls there, you chill, you go really far dead side because you don't care about positioning. You just want to be safe, and you want like freer rotates for the next rotate. So you just go chill here with your Lambo, and then third zone pulls. Let's say it pulls like here. As soon as it pulls, like I'm talking, the timer is like 002, like this, right? You need to start getting in your Lambo and moving, right? Because it's not going to pull on you on edge, and even if it does, you can just stop the car and get back out. But let's say it pulls far, like that's why you want to go fast, right? Because the congestion is going to be relatively uniform throughout the zone, like this. Right, it's gonna be like pretty uniform, but as time passes, after third zone shows, it's gonna get really condensed in third zone, and then you can't really secure third center. So what you should do with the Lambo boost is use hard bum rush center with boost, and it's very important you don't hit anything on the way, because as soon as you hit something, the whole play is over and you have to get out. Otherwise you're gonna get service sprayed, because it's very easy to shoot a non-moving target that's not moving that fast. But with Lambo boost, it's actually really safe to drive past a bunch of bases because of the fact that you're moving so fast. So definitely look to do that, and then once you secure center third, I'm sure you understand. Let's draw it on paint. Actually, this specific concept, I'm sure you guys know about it already, but center third, if you go dead center third, you guarantee fourth zone, right? And let's draw it one more time. Let's draw a circle like this. Let's say this is third zone. Okay, now let's say this is fourth zone, and a unique property about fourth zone is that fourth zone is half the size of third zone. So this is pretty accurate, would you agree? It's half the size, so the radius is half the size of the radius of third zone. Okay, so now notice something, right? Let's say there's a dot right in the center of third zone right here, the bigger circle. There's a dot in the center. That's us. Now notice something. No matter how max or far fourth zone pulls, it includes the center dot. So the worst case scenario, it includes you, right? And that's just a unique property about, you know, the zone being half the size of the previous zone. It will guarantee the fact that you will be in zone if you are dead center of the zone. Does that make sense? So let's say it pulls here, you're still in, because I purposely position myself center zone. Does that make sense? So that's something that's really simple. Most of you guys will already know this, but for the guys that don't, or at least if you don't know why that's the case, this is why. It's the sizes of the zone that dictates this. Okay, so now you're center zone and you're chilling. Cool. So that sort of explains what we do there. And then obviously, let's say half pulls, worst case scenario, it pulls like this. We have Spider-Man. That's why we have it. We're probably not going to keep our car here. We're ditching it, by the way. Third zone, we don't want to keep it close. Third zone's really congested usually in a stock game. We let it roll away, and we let it like sit out here or like really close like that. Just don't let it be in range to explode your builds, because a lot of people can service spray your car, create an explosion, and then start service spraying you when your builds are weak. Don't want that. Let the car go. And we're just going to Spider-Man 2-3 times to get into half here. At this point, what's going to end up happening? Think about map count, right? Right here we have 555. Right here we're also we can box here, by the way, and then refarm. So we're still gonna have 555. We're gonna do 555 refarm again, and the third center we're gonna end up having, let's say a box costs 8 builds, we're gonna end up having 142 builds. And then right here with fourth pull, we're gonna still have 142 builds because we didn't build another box. Honestly, you don't need to build more than one box, so don't try to build 2x1s and stuff. Literally just build one middle box. Conserve, right? It doesn't matter. It's how you stay above average the map count. When I drew that graph, this graph right here, that's how you stay above average, to create that sort of situation where you have free kills around you. Right, so then after fifth Spider-Man, let's assume we spend a little bit more mats. We should have 130 builds in half. This is really good. This is really above average, right? This is something that happens when you get a kill in half, except we did it without a kill. Does that make sense? So this is something that you want to do. I feel like it's really beneficial. This is how I live coach solo cash coach. By the way, I'm genuinely giving you guys a secret. Follow this. Right, there's not that many people watching my channel. If you're part of my channel, if you're part of my fan base, my viewer base, whatever, I don't like calling fan base, but whatever, either way, you guys know the secret now, right? You guys know how to do this. This is what Hydro does. This is not something that's sort of the secret formula or anything. This is genuine, just common sense. This is how you conserve mats. A lot of people sort of just go center, but they don't understand like the pros and cons of it, and then they lose a ton of mats because some guy keys them or whatever. Instead of sitting in a box in first and second, just choose a very empty position on top of a hill. Maybe you can box up on edge. Why would someone key you there? And maybe a house, maybe a bush. Try to be a bit more creative. Sit in your car in the passenger seat. Like, there's other solutions here. Don't just go dead center every single time and try to think like, oh, I have best probability of pulling zone. That's all it like there is to it. Fortnite's not more complex than that. It is more complex than that. Okay, just try to think more creatively. This is a nice, base plan for you to conserve mats in circles 1 to 5. That's what I recommend, guys. That's what I recommend. Either way, let's continue with the VOD review. And let's see what happened. Really good storm tank. Why do we storm tank here? We just heard someone. First of all, someone smacked this wall. So clearly someone's in this tile right here. Right, let me redraw that in yellow. Someone's in this tile right here. So we are scared. We go around to the right and we are chilling. If you notice zone pulls diagonally, we're still going in direction of zone if you go like this. So it's cool. We're chilling. Edit just showed up. Clearly the enemy's in this box. The wood box right here. So we're going to ramp this off, right? Because I just saw that edit. And I'm sure Malibuca saw it too. Right? Okay, so he tries to, but then Harry Potter himself. Instinctively cones himself to do two things: blocks his head, and then also defensively piece controls himself in the case that there's an edit on this wall right here. This wall right here, and then we're just going to be defensively piece controlling himself. But more importantly, it's just blocking our head for height, and we can react if we, get sprayed out there. We're chilling though. This is a really nice position. Notice how the wall on our right, the storm wall, is expanding. I think we can potentially go for that kill. Yeah, we should. We're running out of mats. Again, I don't count wood as a mat. Wood is not safe. Try to avoid basing in wood. The best way you can do that is to go for impact when you're running out of hards, not wood. All right, if you have 500 wood, don't think you have mats, man. Try full tarping in that. Like, it's actually not that safe, right? Everyone targets you. It's obvious. Like, Malibuca is going to target potentially this box right here. Okay, this guy has hards now. Somehow. Either way, it's a top 5 situation, top 4 now. Easy crank. So only Malibuca knows that Hyde is dead, because Malibuca is the person who killed Hyde. So Hyde's actually really free, even if you're ulti low here, because you're the only person who has this information. And maybe like Malibuca doesn't necessarily think it this way. This is true, right? So your Hyde's really free. You should just take it. You can go there like really slow and you'll still get it, because you're the only person who knows Hyde's dead, because you're the person who killed him. Now 1v1 situation, reload everything. You have 20 builds. We should just spam SMG. It's one of the best ways to win the game, because it's really easy to burn your enemy mats when you do this. That was a crazy 720. Really nice peek coming in here. Really good. And wins the game. Played textbook. Really textbook. Yeah, let's watch this. 5-for-5 mats. Pretty mid-game fight. Start spraying the other guy. Cool. Really good SMG spray. Okay, so again, this is a common thing I noticed that pros do that a lot of other people don't do. This is something that Donnie does a lot. Is really just spammy SMG, man. You need to learn how to fight with the power weapon, the meta weapon, because it could be something totally different next time. Either way, like if we're just focusing on just this solo cash grab, we should be learning. We should be spamming with SMG, man. It's really good pressure. It makes people panic, and unfortunately, as much as like it's cheesy or whatever, I don't really care. We're competitive players. We're trying to win. You better do it. You know what I mean? Because you best believe the pros are doing it. Every pro does it. Seriously. It's not cheap. It's not cheesy. It's the meta. Everyone has access to it. Use it to your advantage. Pretty simple. 247 above on Surge. I think we're chilling here in general. I don't know why he's aggroing so hard on this, actually. Is it the kill, or is it the fact that he doesn't think 250 is above? Oh, it's the fact that the enemy's white HP. Okay, so the fight should be free. But this skin actually gets a really nice hit on Oh, triple. You should do. Yeah. Take it. Nice. The fact. Okay, so I mean, this is a dead giveaway. The fact that you see the enemy sitting on the cone, it's almost like it's unaware, right? You can kind of tell. And healing, which means gun's not out. You see this icon? Gun's not out. So we can take that. I really thought the edit was going to be the triple edit, but I think Malibuca knows that if you're standing here, you don't fall. I think. I'm not entirely sure. There's something with that. So he chooses the other way. Phases the cone and kills. It's a pretty clean kill either way. You definitely go for that. It's so free. The enemy doesn't even have gun out, and you know that the enemy doesn't have gun out. 5-5-5, you don't need the impact. You don't need the loot. So let's move forward. That's what Malibuca is doing. Uses quite a little bit of, charges here, but I think it's because you can afford to in this specific meta, because you have 20 charges Spider-Man. Can't really do that nowadays with the 10 charge, but again, 10 charges is really good. You just have to play it differently with it. You can't do what Malibuca does here. You kind of have to take a mediocre spot. If you mess up, that's fine. At least you got the distance to move forward and save 500 mats from tarping. Right, tarping is the biggest sin in solos. Try your best to not tarp at all. It's really bad. He needs to get out of this congestion, man. It's so congested for what? He needs to be much higher up, in my opinion. This is like just when you're playing Spider-Man, you should just play higher. But I feel like he leans a little bit lower because he's more kill hungry, like compared to other players. Really good ramp to block off any potential third parties, and tries to spray through. It's a couple tags, but he's awareness checking. Okay, so here's the thing that Malibuca and other pros do really well. Some pros don't do this enough. You just need to awareness check everyone. You need to spray them, see how they react. Maybe you beam them for 150 sometimes, and then that's where you can go in for the play. And if it doesn't work, no harm done. It's a positive neutral case. So the neutral case is that they react and you don't get anything. Cool. You just reload and move on. But if the positive case is that it works, and then you jump in, you get a kill. So there's no harm in awareness testing someone that's not looking towards you, because they can't pre-fire or do anything, because you can literally see them that they're looking in a different direction. It's a positive neutral case. Take it. Okay, so definitely take that. I don't think people do it enough. And as soon as it stops working, let's say it goes neutral, you just need to take a different fight. Go awareness trick someone else. Don't keep fighting the person that just understands you're there because they held. They know, right? So just screw that. Let's go for someone else. Cool. He gets beamed a little bit. He's just gonna chill. He should probably look for, I think he was looking for a siphon. That's actually really interesting. A lot of people would splash there. I don't think it's that bad to splash, but I think he wants to save it for potential storm plays. That's what splashes are really good for. Don't just think them as like heals. They're not just big pots. They're not just fast big pots, right? They're very flexible in the fact that they can heal whites as well, and that's what's really important about them. You can potentially take height with them if you position yourself second height and then stagger. What I mean by stagger is you sort of stay back of zone, maybe even let storm eat you, and then tank with sugs, and then come up behind height as you ramp up, take height, you have it. But I think he's going to potentially use it for a different play. You can also use it as like a time extender, and what I mean by that is you have, again, like I said before, your mats is your hourglass. It's your time left in this game, and as it ticks down, what you can do is you just use the chugs to extend your time. So let's say you have 10 builds, instead of continuously tarping forward with wood, which is probably going to get you killed, or Spider-Man rebox in wood again, you just use the splashes to get a little bit of extra time and potentially get a kill, maybe 10 more seconds, and that could be the difference between the kills. So definitely worth saving them. I see Malibuca's mentality here, and any siphon could find him a really good conservation of like these chug splashes. I saw this play coming, right? So this is the hint. Right here, this guy moving left to right, so where is this guy gonna go? Pretty obvious, right? Gonna edit this wall and then walk out like this. That's why Malibuca is just waiting. Now the key thing that Malibuca does is does not give away the play. He does not give away the fact that he knows that this guy's going like this, right? And this is actually really important, because if you just edit this wall and just like hold it open, let's say you do this edit where this is open right here, and you just keep it like that, right? You're not holding the edit or anything. You just like edit it right away and just crosshair. The problem with that is that this guy can see through the wall, sees this open edit, obviously knows that someone's in here, Malibuca's in here, and probably gonna go around the long way, or just wait in Zorm or do something different. You don't want to give away the fact that you know what this guy's about to do, so you just need to wait. You just need to chill. Don't give it away. That's what he does with the hold. He lets go when he thinks the enemy's coming out. Enemy's just coming out right now, and boom, right? Pretty weak shot, I'm not gonna lie. A little bit underwhelming, but it was definitely the right idea. Flashes once because it's about to get dicey. He goes for the play, he goes for the Spider-Man, so he wants to get a little bit higher HP, goes for a nice Spider-Man. That's why you can go for this play, by the way. Spider-Man's a really good tempo tool. It's not just mat conservation, it's really good tempo, and tempo just means like sort of like time. You're sort of bending time. And think about what happens here. If you don't have Spider-Man, you sort of have to invest all that time that you would have been looking for an impact to tarping, because you have to walk. That's slow, right? But because you have Spider-Man and it's really fast to just teleport from literally backside to front side really fast, that buys you extra time that you can be using to go for impacts instead. That's why he's comfortable staying backside there, because he just needs to wait to zone to get ahead. He's gonna Spider-Man in, and right here he's in white circle and he's chilling, right? So if you look at the minimap, he's in white circle, he's chilling, doesn't need to move. Going to his top, potentially wants to go for that play. Really aware of the fact that there's a fight going on his cone, and he just edits and sprays down, right? And he's not just looking for the kill of the person who won the fight, but he's also looking for the loot. So he just sprays down and sees what happens, gets both kills, literally gets 2 people's worth of mats, picks all of it up. Insane mats right now. He just wins the game. What's his win con here? He needs to take height. He needs to take height. Really important. What should he do? He's pretty elevated right now, but he needs to work up to second height and then splash, right? He doesn't necessarily need to do it right away, but height is 100% the play here. Let's see if he does it. I'm very curious if he actually ends up doing it. He needs to ramp up. It's not that dangerous. You have armored walls, you have everything in your power to sort of ramp up here. and use a little bit of mats to get up, and then potentially take height afterward. This is absolutely not the play. Let's try to get up. Left side was definitely the right play in terms of finding space. Good, think about it. Where's expanding side here? Expanding side south side. Again, watch that video in the description if you don't understand it. And that's gonna eventually create space. Because think about it, only people can be in zone right now, and they're gonna go this way, right? And this wall is gonna be expanding to sort of create more space for you. And then that's really easy for you to find space on the left side. Pretty simple, but watch the video if you want to understand it. I don't think I should re-explain it in this video. It's gonna take a while, so just watch that previous video in the description. Again, if I haven't linked it in the description, I might forget. Just leave me a comment. I read comments, guys. I actually do. I just don't have the time to respond to every single one, but I do read a lot of them, like literally 95% of them. Gets a really nice kill there. Again, tempo play, uses Spider-Man to get ahead. Actually, I don't even think he's Spider-Man, so he just rotates, and then because he's ahead of zone and other people are behind him, he goes for SMG sprays on the backside, and then harpoons the mats with the Spider-Man. If you harpoon mats with Spider-Man, it does not use a charge, so don't be afraid of that. Since you're just pulling items, it should be fine. That floor is weak behind him. You should be careful. I don't know. Did he cone it? I can't. He did it so fast. I don't think he coned it, so I'm a little worried about that. No, he didn't. Someone could absolutely spray that. Again, small detail, but could be really, really bad. Pulls top left. Nice Spider-Man. Dude, he has such good leverage to take height. I'm really surprised he's not doing it. Is it because he wants kills? It could potentially be the fact that he wants more kills. I really don't know. He's really good at fragging, right? And finals is 2 points per kill, I believe. And it's really good that way. Or maybe 3. I think it's 3. I don't know. Either way, it's way more points for in finals than it is for regular like round 1, right? He is fragging, dude. This is the meta. This is why, right? Fuck height. When you can just frag and get so many points, man. I don't even think he cares about not winning this game. He just got so many points from all those kills. Like, if it actually is 3 points per kill, as I thought it might be. Okay, so really just paying attention to the enemy. Look at this. Just pay. Okay, keep your eyes not on Malibuca, not his crosshair, not anything. Keep your eyes right here. Let's try to play this again. Where's the enemy? Enemy's right here, right? You can see the feet, right? There's the enemy. Enemy's trying to fall. Malibuca's trying to spray through. And look at the intention. Enemy moving here, moving here, moving here. Starts dropping, starts dropping, starts dropping. Okay, we need to place this wall because they're trying to shoot us. We place the wall, they shoot the wall, we edit, we shoot them. Okay, cool. Let's see what happens. Okay, it doesn't end up editing because the enemy doesn't shoot a shotgun shot. Enemy decides to SMG spray. Because dancing, it's really, really free. 400 mats. Needs to splash twice here. Yeah, definitely before any engagement, especially in the final fight when there's no siphon anymore, you just need to take the fight. Just get to max HP if possible, if it's not going to take you too much time and you have the mass to support that sort of play. So you want to pop, let's say you're 100 HP, you want to pop 2 minis, 1 big. The way you know if you have time to do that is your mat count, right? If you have really, really good mats, sometimes you have time to do it, but sometimes they just like pressure so hard that you don't have time to do it. So watch out for that too. Like, big is kind of ambitious. Definitely get your minis off and then take the fight. Here he has splashes, which is really fast heals. He's going to take that and then take the fight. Really nice peek. Hits 50. This is fight 50-50 right here. Either way, he wins the fight. Pretty good. Easy. Next game. Mid-game fight. Let's watch this. What ends up happening here, man? What is this? I think he's doing this for Surge potentially, and just a really easy kill on a scuffed individual. Tries to get in. He's also just crossing really well. Like, if this does work here, look where his crosshair is. Literally, you can't see it here, but it's literally on the opponent. So if this allows him to get in, he's gonna immediately on the next bullet start beaming the opponent because he's already lined up his crosshair. He's not just shooting at the wall, he's colliding the wall with the enemy. Does that make sense? It's kind of like skewering both. If the wall breaks, he shoots the enemy insta, and that's like really good damage. He starts winning the trade right away. And he's bleeding bullets through. I don't know if you noticed, like right here. That's what I mean by like just sheep spraying. Gets 1 tag right here, cracks the enemy. This gives us a lot of information. We're 176. Enemy is best case scenario 100 HP. Okay, cool. We take the fight. We would love to take the fight here. This is really, really good fight for us. We just need to play it properly. The problem is we don't have a shotgun, so you actually just need to know how to box it with an SMG. It's not that difficult. You just need to pressure a lot. Okay, it doesn't work out. Okay, we cancel this play. Okay, sorry. We need to kill him. We still need to kill him. And it's gonna be kind of hard to do so, but it's definitely not easy without a shotty. Because she's doing a really good showcase. So SMG box fights. And trust me, it's not easy. It's like straightforward, but it's not easy. It's much easier with a shotty, for sure. You'd much prefer to have a shotgun here. Obviously, the reason why he picks up this loadout is because of the fact that he can get surge with it. And then if you pick up AR SMG, you have two, I guess like guns where you can shoot. You can spray with both. It's two different types of ammo, so you get to get more ammo that's actually used. Cool doesn't look. Look how calm and collected he is here. It's actually crazy. Look at this. Look at this. It's so calm and collected. Not here. Not here. Let's go back one more. Right here. So calm and collected. Really, really good. Holy moly, dude! My face cam has darkened because it is morning outside. Right? It is currently 7 a.m. Very cool. I was recording this video and I think it's been taken, let's see how long we've been recording, 58 minutes. Let's finish this off, guys, and you can enjoy my very, very dark and poor lighting camera while it's on. I actually didn't even notice it. I think it was like this like halfway through the video. Either way, that's actually funny. We have this last minute game. I believe it's gonna last like 3 minutes. We should be fine. We'll continue, guys. Forgive me for the scuff setup, but I do not care about that. We're trying to grind for the solo cash cup here. That's what we care about. Looking back zone because he has time. Why does he have time? He has Spider-Man, right? Because he has Spider-Man, he's able to look back so often. That's the main reason why we care about Spider-Man, man. It is so good. It is just a really, really good ability tool for solos. Get up. This is a low layer. It pulls uphill. You can see the terrain change. He needs to get up, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. And he's doing it in an area where it's super uncongested. He gets hit once. Cool, he makes a 2x1 because he got hit. Now, okay, so this 2x1 style is really, really easy for Malibuca because of the fact that he can refresh his mat often. He needs to stay hard right here. He needs to go hard right. He should stay on any layer, but he should definitely stay on the right side. Oh, no way. Okay, that was almost good. That was almost good. If he hits that shot, he continues. If he doesn't hit that shot like he does here, then he just don't take the play. Just run away. You're fine. You're actually fine. Cool. Guys, I gotta make my 11 a.m. upload. That's why it's 7 a.m. and I'm recording. Not gonna lie, I was procrastinating a little bit, but we got the video done, guys. I really hope you guys benefit from this. Seriously. Like, watch this and try hard in the cash cup, man. Like, if you have like sort of problems where like you rage and stuff, man, like actually just you need to fix it. If you care about being a pro, you need to just get over that. It's way past that. Obviously, like, people have like serious rage issues, like actually problems with like playing properly or tilting. That's completely fair, and those are very, very real. Work on it though, right? Actually actively work on it. Don't just be like, I'm the type or personality that rages, I can't do anything about it. That's bad. Definitely fix it. Work on fixing it, because I want to see someone from my community pop off, man, just from watching my videos. Like, obviously people who get life coaching or whatever, like, cool, they pop off, that's whatever. But I want to see someone watch my videos and pop off. That would be sick. Like, you guys got to do it for me, man. I'll be so happy. He gets the free impact backside right here. Let's go back and just watch this real quick. He gets a really, really free impact here. Why does he chase this guy, guys? Why? He's 190 HP, he has huge HP advantage. Why? How do we know we have HP advantage? We obviously shot him, but more importantly, he gets cracked super early. He shoots him like 3-4 times. Actually does a lot of damage before he gets cracked. Either way, he gets cracked. So we know he's under 100 HP. He's probably like 80, 70, 60 HP. We chase him. We take those, right? We have info on that person. No one else really has info on that person. We take that. So he dies, but Malibuca sort of blocks it off and then takes the kill. Really easy Spider-Man to get ahead. Again, tempo, very good. This is what allows you to make plays backside, because you can easily just switch over to front side if you do this. Really, really good confident play. He's feeling himself here. Dude, I'm telling you, like, in the final game, Malibuca is like always more confident. Like, in the first few games, he's so stiff and way too careful. Now he's playing instinctually, right? And honestly, that's what you should do. As much as my channel is all about theory and stuff, I am fully an advocate for like being fast and instinctual. You should not be sort of like slow playing it. That is where you're inefficient. Like, Fortnite's not chess, right? It's not where you have 5 minutes to make a move. It's not, you don't even have 3 seconds, guys, right? Like, you have to make a move fast. And if you're overthinking about everything, like, oh, like, what would Zycoma say about this play here? Like, screw it, right? That's long time learning. But in general, like, just watch this video and try to absorb as much as possible. But when you're playing, be instinctual, right? Try to avoid as many bad habits. Hopefully some of the stuff that I've mentioned in the video sort of seeps in and shows itself in your play. But play more fast, play instinctual. Don't try to do dumb stuff while you're playing instinctual, by all means, but definitely don't be so stiff, right? If you go to this video on Malibuca's channel and watch his like first 2 games, you'll notice what I mean by stiff. Like, he's way too nervous, he's way too careful, and that sort of actually costs him. Like, now he's playing fast, now he's playing his normal self, right? And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. They don't play fast enough. They don't trust in their ability to make the right play, so they slow down so much because they're like constantly overthinking about what to do next. It's a 1v1v1 situation. Low ground's completely not taken. Oh, it is actually. Let's watch this. That's why he chooses this layer, because he's aware about the fact that someone's low ground. Same procedure here, right? So like, if you're mid ground like this, your win con is to kill low ground, then turn it into 1v1 by killing low ground, and then take the fight on 1v1 from height. He needs to kill low ground here. He has the match to do it. Drops down. This is super 50-50. Okay, that was just rough. I think he does that because I think he thought low ground was not gonna look up. Like, it's about to end here. I don't think he wins this. Yeah, he doesn't win this. Okay, yeah, so the way you get second, obviously, is you have mats. Clearly, low ground does not have mats here, right? You can see, like, it's pretty obvious that low ground does not have builds. Yes, they could be faking it with 1-2 builds in their inventory, and then when you drop on them, they build. So watch out for that situation. A lot of people do that, but I don't think they have builds, right? I just don't believe it. So this is just 50-50. You're not playing to your advantage, right? Your advantage is the fact that you have time on your side. Obviously, you know, height's gonna be spraying on you on the roof. Just hold, you're fine. You have way more than enough mats. You just need to go for a peek here, like an actual peek, like a good double edit into a nice peek. Get him low and then do this. I think you win, right? Like create that HP advantage and then jump in. The problem is he full committed. Yes, he missed his shot. I think it's because he rushed it, but either way, I'm not kidding. Malibuca is so talented. All these criticisms that I'm giving him, I'm not ragging him at all. I'm not necessarily like I don't want to like people in the comments to go like, yo, like Malibuca's so much better than you. Like trust me, I know he is. He very much is. He's very talented. He's insane at solos, okay? But doesn't mean what he's doing is correct. Absolutely not. And I will not go to like how do I say it, in a situation where like this is a pro, he has authority, so everything he does is correct. That's wrong too, right? Pros don't necessarily play the game correctly all the time, and they know it, right? They're completely fine with that. It's a game. Everyone makes mistakes. It's hard to play perfectly all the time. You're playing this game for like 3 hours straight, like in any given session. It's hard to play perfectly. It's really difficult, nearly impossible. So definitely expect mistakes from everyone. It's just that the pros make less impactful mistakes. They don't make mistakes that get them killed. So definitely play this next casual with confidence in any case, right? Just make sure you prepare, guys. Preparation is how you be confident. When you go to say, you know, study for a mat test and you go into the mat test, how do you not be nervous? How do you be prepared? You study. And that's what we need to do. We need to prepare this upcoming days, prepare for Saturday, prepare for Monday, and honestly, best of luck. I really hope you guys play really well. This is the ending of the season, right? Just make sure you make yourself proud and you do a good job to end it off really well. And I wish you guys the best, man. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully the rest of the videos this week will be solos. I think it will, because it's just really relevant to solo cash ups. But yeah, take care, guys. Bye bye.